Yo, what is up YouTube? It is Zeta TCG here, and today I want to start off before I go into my review on The Witcher 3. I want to thank every single one of you. I've been doing this for a little over a year on the day I'm recording this. I remember I started like the weekend before Christmas in 2014, and now um, I've been doing this for a year, and I really want to thank you guys so much. Um, every single one of my subs, even though it's like around 30, I believe I have it at around 30 subs or something. If you sub to me, I want to thank you, man, so much. I mean, being on YouTube and trying to get noticed is tough. I mean, it's it's a really difficult challenge. I mean, not everybody can say, oh yeah, I have over 100,000 subs on YouTube. But, I mean, it's really hard to make it in YouTube. But even though after doing this for 1 year, I have 29 subs, and I'm very fortunate um, to have every single one of those accounts sub to me. I know I do know some people who are sub to me. I'm actually going to give a shout out to one. Her name is Lauren Pack. She does Yu-Gi-Oh openings just like how I do sometimes. I'm actually going to get into that in a little bit, because this thank you video is also going to be a what's going to come out of my channel in 2016. And before I go into that though, I do want to shout out Lauren Pack, because she does do Yu-Gi-Oh openings just like me. Even though I'm currently not doing any openings anytime soon, because I am trying to save up to build a computer. Yeah, I've been making my videos on this Mac, and this computer, this Mac, is actually six years old. And yeah, 6 years old in terms of technology is like an eon almost. Okay, I mean, it's it's fallen behind with all the latest releases in terms of CPUs, graphics cards, obviously RAM. I only have 8 gigs of RAM in this thing. I like to, whenever I build my computer, get 16 and have a nice CPU and a nice GPU as well, so I can play games and even stream games that I'm playing. And yeah, that's currently my goal right now. I have some money saved, and I'm actually about to purchase some stuff as soon as I finish editing this video, to begin that process and to be fully committed 100% into building this computer. And whenever I do that though, if you're sub to my channel for Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I swear to God, man, I'm going to be going full swing into Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as Pokemon openings that I promise I deliver. Even though I failed on that promise multiple times, I'm still trying to find, that perfect thing to open. That intriguing first Pokemon opening. You know what I mean? Um, and right now that search has been kind of tough, because on eBay some stuff that I've been trying to think of are a little out of my price range, and so in the end, whenever it's all said and done, I promise that I will be coming back onto Yu-Gi-Oh soon. I will be providing my commentary on some duels as well, and as well as getting back into opening stuff, because, well, in a couple weeks, Breakers of Shadows is coming out, and Cyber Dragon Infinity is supposed to be in that set. And Cyber Dragon Infinity is probably going to be one of the biggest money cards we've seen in a very long time. Probably not since Dark Arm Dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna go that far fetched out there. Probably not since Dark Arm Dragon. And so yeah. Um, Am I considering getting a box set? I may not. I don't know. But the main principle of this video is that I really do want to thank every single one of my 29 subs who have sticked with me going into this new year. I really do appreciate the support you provide. Even if I get one view, or if I get the 400 views I've gotten before from doing sneak peek openings. No matter the case, I am very fortunate to have those people take time out of themselves to be watching my openings, or my video game reviews, or my Destiny videos, or whatever Yu-Gi-Oh analysis I may have. I'm just very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate to have every single one of you people who are sub to me as well, because it certainly does mean a lot to me. And right now, for this first part, I just want to tell you guys thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and cut my clip here for just a little bit. I'm going to switch over to some Witcher 3 gameplay, and I'm going to go ahead and give my analysis on what I believe is probably the greatest game I ever played. So, stay tuned. Okay guys, I told you that would be pretty quick. Anyways, switched over to some Witcher 3 gameplay, and now I'm going to go ahead and swing right into this review about The Witcher 3. It's kind of difficult to really explain, the whole entire background about The Witcher. The only thing I'm really only going to provide out there, without really spoiling a whole lot, is that the main character in this game is a Witcher. And what a Witcher is, to keep things simple, a monster slayer. And the Witcher we play as in this game is a Witcher whose name is Geralt of Rivia. And he got his Witcher training from a Witcher school called the School of the Wolf. If you look at his medallion, whenever it switches over, that medallion right there, that indicates what school he is a part of. And that medallion also tells him when a monster is near, or if there's a lot of magic nearby. I have played the first two Witchers before playing the third Witcher. I have nothing but high praise for both games, simply because CD Projekt Red created an amazing series, and they really have made something very special in their hands. Overall, with the first two Witchers, the problem with the first Witcher was the gameplay, and to be more specific and more precise, the fighting mechanics in the game. The sword, the way you combat monsters and foes is simply unorthodox, and it's really it just feels so weird. I mean, it's not your average, sword swinging kind of kind of game, I should say. However, the story in the first Witcher does make up for the terrible fighting system in the game overall. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% positive that CD Projekt Red was on a very limited budget, and they had very little to work with in terms of making the first Witcher. And back in 2007, most computer games aren't advanced the way they are today. You know what I mean? They're, we have games, PC games like Crysis, Grand Theft Auto 5, that take, demanding internals, but the games run so smoothly. And with the first Witcher, being back in 2007, that game would definitely take you on a trip back into the past. And with that being said, with the second Witcher, CD Projekt Red definitely improved um, the overall gameplay, and specifically the fighting mechanics and the combat. It was improved significantly. And The Witcher 2, though, however, had a shorter story. It was about maybe 15 to 20 hours long, depending on how you played the game. Um, Compared to The Witcher 1, where that game gave me over 30 hours, easy. And in overall conclusion, whenever you look at The Witcher 3, basically what CD Projekt did was they basically got something in terms of a story very similar to the first Witcher, provided just as many hours and many more. I put over 70 hours into this game, and they also improved the combat and the fighting mechanics in the game as well. And that right there, in itself, with most developers could never pull that off. But CD Projekt Red did that. They looked back, they looked at the mistakes they made, and they fixed them. And they did it with pinpoint precision. And that is the reason why, you guys, I'm considering this game to be one of the greatest games I ever played. Now, when we look into The Witcher in its story, if you've never played the first two Witchers, I recommend you do before going into The Witcher 3. However, you do not have to play the first two Witchers to go into this game, because this is the first time CD Projekt Red has released this game onto consoles and not just PC. However, what I just said there, though, was a little bit false, because The Witcher 2 did come out for Xbox 360. However, what I mean by saying is that The Witcher 3 is, the first of their games to come out for both major consoles and PC. The Witcher 2 did not come out for PlayStation 3, and at one point, CD Projekt Red was really close to releasing the first Witcher out for both Xbox 360 and PS3. However, the publishing deal that they made with the publisher got you know what? I'm just gonna put this kind of harshly. Shit hit the fan with them. Okay, so yeah, that was really unfortunate in my mind. I would have loved to have seen the first Witcher played on PlayStation 3, because I do have a PS3. I also have a 360 as well. That was how I was able to play The Witcher 2, because my Mac cannot take The Witcher 2 with what it's asking. So, when we look at The Witcher 3, though, in terms of its story, there is an option that asks you, would you like to import save data? And if you're on PC, you obviously say yes if you played the first, if you played the second Witcher, because what that does is it basically whatever armor and or weapons you may have from the second Witcher will actually move into the third Witcher. The same thing happens for the second Witcher from the first Witcher. In the first Witcher, you actually get presented a almost like a god tier silver sword, and the silver sword can actually be carried over into the second Witcher. However, in the second Witcher, that sword is practically almost useless whenever you find better equipment. So you don't have to play the first two Witchers. However, I recommend you do, because you're missing out on a lot, and it's a really great story. The lore in The Witcher is amazing, and that's why I personally think if you want to pick up this game now, you definitely have to play the first two. That's just in my opinion. Do you have to? Absolutely not. but it is recommended. So, um, when we look at the story now in The Witcher 3, providing over, I'd say, the story can easily give you 50 hours. That's not including the DLC that you can buy, and which I did buy as well. I will get to that towards the end of reviewing the story. Um, the story itself could easily give you 50 hours. I mean, the the more difficult stuff in this game really is, fighting monsters. You get Witcher contracts in game from notice boards, and the Witcher contracts are usually what take up the majority of your time in terms of, side quests and Witcher contracts as well. You can also hunt for treasure, which I think is pretty cool, because you can actually pick up some treasure hunt quests that can allow you to get Witcher gear from other Witcher schools, such as the School of the Bear and the School of the Cat. Now you're probably asking yourself, I don't know this shit, so why is he saying it? But because, to be honest, it's really just minor. What I told you, it's nothing major. I mean, if you ask anybody who's a fan of The Witcher, they can tell you the most notable Witcher schools, and it really doesn't affect the plot at all. So, I promise, I'm keeping spoilers to a fair minimum, almost non-existent. Whenever I was talking about background earlier, background with what I was talking about in game is completely unrelated with The Witcher 3. Almost, you do need to know some stuff before going into this game, though, as I've said before. So, back on the story. The story could easily give you in what I think is over 50 hours worth, and that's honestly really good. I mean, that's almost unseen in most games today. There's hardly any games that take 3 years of development and can provide a story that's over 50 hours worth. That's absolutely amazing. And then whenever you include the latest DLC that came out, Hearts of Stone gives you about 10 hours of gameplay and about maybe 7 hours worth of story. And that's really good. So whenever you view a game like The Witcher as like, oh, it's probably just some third-person RPG that probably isn't good, you are definitely underestimating the story in this game, because it's really good and it's really amazing. You should definitely, if not for story, definitely pick up the game, because this game is fun. You can definitely have some fun slaying monsters. However, it is recommended that you do level up by playing the story and doing side quests before going into those Witcher contracts, because there are some Witcher contracts that have a suggested level of over 20 and 30, and you are picking up those contracts by the time you're level 10. And that's honestly an issue that I will address later on down the road in this video. So, yeah. Anyways, going into gameplay, the fighting mechanic was the smoothest to date that I have felt in a Witcher game. The signs definitely have improved. You get these Witcher signs. You get 5 signs. One is a magical trap called Yurden. One is called Quen, which is a defensive shield, and that's probably going to be the most used sign ever in game. Maybe not in the first Witcher, but definitely in the first 2. Another sign is Igni, which allows you to ignite enemies on fire and even start fires at say fire pits or lanterns. The 4th sign is a sign called Axii, which allows you to control the enemy's mind. And the last sign was probably the most used sign I used in the first Witcher, and that was Ard, which is a telekinetic blast, and all signs are very useful. All signs are very, very useful in this game. Um, CD Projekt Red really did a very good job of balancing the signs and not just leaning towards one sign. However, with that being said, I did say the most used sign will probably be the defensive shield, which is Quinn, and that is lopsided. However, when you go to in-game stuff and even some Witcher contracts, it is recommended that you definitely follow what signs can weak the monster you use. Like for example, I'm going to tell you about a contract that I did whenever I got this game early on, and that was a contract where I had to defeat a wraith, and this wraith was called Jenny of the Woods, and wraiths are weak against the sign of Yurden, and Yurden did wonders against that wraith because Yurden is a magical trap, and apparently wraiths are weak against magical traps. So definitely that's a definite plus on CD Projekt Red's side for sure. And whenever it's all said and done, when you put fighting down and you put the signs down, you can even make bombs in this game. Bombs are an option. I honestly didn't use bombs. I had to use bombs once for a Witcher contract though. That was a pain. Trying to find the materials to make the bomb. Um, and you also have a crossbow, which I'm pretty sure you can see on Geralt's back from earlier footage. Um, there's also a lot of other stuff you can use in this game as well. In the expansion, you can use a shovel as a weapon if you want to. Completely optional. Um, so yeah, story and gameplay really do make this game very much, and that's honestly pretty much all you need to know that this game is really good. Um, Over 70 hours of gameplay gave me, including the DLC, over 10 hours from the DLC, um, 20 hours worth of side quests and Witcher contracts. It's it's the best of both worlds, and this game really does a really exceptional job of fulfilling that. There probably won't be another game to ever come out like this again, unless if CD Projekt Red elects to make another Witcher game, but I'm not going to spoil what I believe should be in the next Witcher installment. That's not good. Yeah, that is not good. So, um, after I just named the pros of this game, I will go into cons. Cons, there are bugs in this game, but the bugs are not terrible. And what I mean by terrible is that, there isn't corrupted saved data, there aren't things glitching through walls, there isn't, stuttered speech in game, there isn't, dropped frames. There shouldn't be dropped frames in the end with console gaming because it can only run at one frame rate. And on PS4, you can choose between 30 or 60. But CD Projekt Red made this game at 30 frames per second on consoles because the Xbox One still likes to stay in 2010 with its internals. But that's a topic for another day. All right, I already know the Xbox fanboys are going to be disliking this video after I said that. So I mean, anyways, as I was saying, the bugs aren't terrible. There isn't the corrupted save data. There isn't things glitching through walls and what have you. Fallout 4 stuff that happens. So that is a definite con. That's actually an absolute con. Another con that I thought could have been improved was there is a little bit of lack of direction in this game. And I also talked about this earlier, how you can receive Witcher contracts that are very far-fetched in terms of level and experience needed whenever you're only, say, level 10 and you pick up a Witcher contract that's worth, you have to be level 30 to do. That's something that I think shouldn't happen. I think okay, I personally believe that if you're going to get contracts early in game, they have to be within your level. And whenever Witcher contracts go from having, a red to a green, green being that you can, try the contract, and red meaning that you're almost certain to have death in this game, is something that should be addressed and shouldn't happen in my mind personally. I personally believe that whenever you start out early in the game and you get a Witcher contract, it should be within your level, but it should be a high enough suggested level to where it can level you up significantly. Because obviously by doing side quests and playing the story levels you up a lot. You need to also do stuff and that isn't involving the story, such as side quests and Witcher contracts, especially Witcher contracts that aren't, so far-fetched in terms of your suggested level. Because I remember multiple times I was like level 6, level 7, and I'd pick up Witcher contracts from notice boards that were, level 25, level 30. And that's something that should never happen. So that is a con in my mind. Other than that, there really isn't nothing I can speak that is terrible about this game. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move on into what score I'm going to give this game. I'm a very big fan of the Witcher series, yes. However, do I think this game is a perfect game? Absolutely not. No game is perfect in my mind. IGN needs to know that whenever they are reviewing Metal Gear Solid 5, because Metal Gear Solid 5 is not a 10. No game is perfect. However, I'm not going to fanboy about this because the bugs do need to be fixed. And patches should be released to fix those bugs. However, CD Projekt Red is developing their latest game that's soon to come out, Cyberpunk 2077. So I can see that how they're focused on their next game. However, they should still be addressing the bugs in this game still, because there are still bugs in this game. Is this game perfect though? Absolutely not. Am I going to give it a perfect score? Yes. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, simply because when you look at the overall gameplay and the amazing story, that overshadows the cons almost. So even though I'm giving this game a 10, in my unbiased opinion, this game is like a 9.5. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a 10 because I really did enjoy it. I really did enjoy every single aspect of this game, and with that being said, that's gonna be my score. I'm gonna give this game 10 out of 10, and that's something I probably won't do ever again. Giving a game a 10 out of 10. Because no game is perfect. I mean, no thing is perfect in life. And this game, though, certainly does come damn close, though, to being perfect. So, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my review right there. You guys, 10 out of 10 is what I'd give The Witcher 3. Is it a must-play? Absolutely. Should you play the first two before going into this one? In my honest opinion, you definitely should. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please subscribe for more video game reviews just like this one, and for other analysis and other video game stuff such as Destiny. Yu-Gi-Oh coming soon in the future. I promise I'm gonna bring it back, and Pokemon as well. And once again, going back to the first part of my video, you guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos, for subscribing to me, for sticking with me because I didn't post content for a very, very long time. I just want to thank you so much for that. Just thank you so much. So, and also shout out to Lauren Pack as well. Definitely check her out if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh. She does great openings. You should definitely watch her. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me on social medias as well. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. That will be in my description box down below. At ZetaTCG for both. You can also watch me on Twitch whenever I'm streaming Destiny and or other games such as Rocket League, or back on The Witcher 3 whenever I need to level up before the next DLC comes out. So that link will also be down below in my description box as well. And my Twitch is Sunny_Choppers. That will be in the description below, as I said already multiple times. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this will be your boy Zeta, signing out.